maintain 4000. Clink 1524, turn left heading 290.
90 heavy.
Speedbird 1 heavy, contact Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7. Qantas 64 Quebec Foxtrot Super, contact Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7.
Contacting Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7. Speedbird 1 heavy. Contacting Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7. Qantas 64 Quebec Foxtrot Super.
Flaps 5
Clink
degrees.
1524, descend and maintain 2000. Maintain 2000 until
1,500 feet. Requesting ILS approach runway 34 left at Sydney Kingsford.
Qantas 7879 heavy, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 34 right at Sydney Kingsford. November 381 Tango India, turn right heading 050, descend and maintain 4500. Clink 1524, contact Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7. UPS 1390 heavy, contact Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7. Roger, Qantas 7879 heavy.
Flight spoilers
Contacting Sydney
extended.
Kingsford Tower on 124.7. UPS 1390 heavy. Contacting Sydney Kingsford Tower on
Flaps 10
124.7.
degrees.
Q-Link 1524. Thank you, good day. Q-Link
Spoilers
1524. Turn right heading 050. Descend and maintain 4500. November 381 Tango India.
For Lima Golf India Victor, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 34 right at Sydney Kingsford. Qantas 1 Kingsford.
Roger, Alpha November Mike.
The 38 Super, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 34 right at Sydney Kingsford.
Roger, Qantas 1438 Super.
Bravo 6228 is 20 nautical miles west of Mittagong at 22,300 feet. Requesting ILS approach any runway at Sydney Kingsford. Sydney Director West, November 381 Tango India, with you at 5,500.
Matrix 187, turn left heading 150, maintain 3000. For Lima Golf India Victor, turn left heading 150, descend and maintain 4000. November 381 Tango India, turn right heading 070, climb and maintain 5000.
Turn left heading 150, descend and maintain. Turn left heading 150, maintain 3000, Matrix 187. Turn right heading 070, climb and maintain 5000, November 381 Tango India.
For Lima Golf India Victor, turn right heading 240, Qantas 1438 Super, descend and main established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 34 left approach. November 381 Tango India, contact Sydney approach north on 124.4. Turn Matrix 187, contact Sydney approach north on 124.
Contacting Sydney approach north on 124.4, Matrix 187.
For Lima Golf India Victor, reduce speed to 200 knots.
Matrix 187 is 15 nautical miles southeast of Sydney Kingsford at 3,000 feet, requesting ILS approach runway 34 right at Sydney Kingsford. Vietnam Airlines 130 Victor November is 4 nautical miles west of Sydney Kingsford at 6,100 feet, requesting ILS approach runway 34 right at Sydney Kingsford. Courier 401 Heavy, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 34 right at Sydney Kingsford. Roger, November 381 Tango India. Matrix 187, expect vectors for the ILS approach. Roger. Matrix 187, turn right heading 240, maintain 3000. Turn right heading 080, descend and turn right heading 240, maintain 3000, Matrix 187. Courier 401 heavy, descend and maintain 6000. Alpha November Mike, descend and maintain 7000.
Descend and maintain 6000, Corina 401 heavy.
Descend and maintain 7000, Alpha November Mike.
4 Lima Golf India Victor is 16 nautical miles south of Sydney Kingsford at
Flaps,
3,200 feet.
25
Requesting ILS approach any runway at Sydney Kingsford. 4 Lima Golf India Victor, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 34 right at Sydney Kingsford. 4 Lima Golf India Victor, turn right heading 310, maintain 3000 until established on the localizer. Cleared ILS runway Matrix 187, turn right heading 300, maintain 3000 until established on the localizer. Cleared ILS, turn right heading 300, maintain 3000 until established on the localizer. Cleared ILS runway 34 right, Matrix 187. November 381 Tango India, descend and maintain 3000. Vietnam Airlines 130 Victor November, turn left heading 150, descend and maintain 4000. Turn left heading 150, descend and maintain 4000. Vietnam Airlines 130 Victor November. Bravo 6228, expect vectors for the ILS approach runway 34 right at Sydney Kingsford. Descend and maintain 3000. November 381 Tango India. Bravo 6228, turn right heading 060, descend and maintain 7000. Turn right heading 060, descend and maintain 7000. Bravo 6228. Alpha November Mike, turn right heading 150.
Turn right heading 150, Alpha November Mike.
Vietnam Airlines 130 Victor November, turn left heading 060, descend and maintain 3000. Courier 401 Heavy, turn left heading 150, descend and maintain 4000. Turn left heading 060, descend and maintain 3000. Vietnam Airlines 130 Victor November. Qantas 7879, turn right heading 060.
Turn left heading 1.
Matrix 187, contact Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124. Contacting Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7, Matrix 187. Q-Link 181, Sydney Kingsford Tower, Matrix 187, inbound on the ILS runway 34 right with information November. Matrix 187, wind 300 at 5, number 2, runway 3, number 2, clear to land, runway 34 right, Matrix 187. Qantas 1438 Super, when able turn left, contact ground on the taxiway.
Wilco, Qantas 1438 Super.
4 Lima Golf India Victor, is on final runway 34 right, full stop. Qantas 7879 Heavy, when able turn left and contact ground, please expedite, traffic on final.
Wilco, Qantas 7879 Heavy.
November 1649 Bravo, cross runway 34 left, please expedite. November 5 Romeo Echo, you're in an active airspace, please contact Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7, crossing runway 34 left. November 1649 Bravo, 4 Lima Golf India Victor, Roger. November 5 Romeo Echo, cross runway 34 left, please expedite. Crossing runway 34 left, November 5 Romeo Echo. November 1649 Bravo, contact Sydney Kingsford ground on 126.5. November 5 Romeo Echo, contact Sydney Kingsford ground on 126.5. Contacting Sydney Kingsford ground on 126.5, November 1649 Bravo. Contacting Sydney Kingsford ground on 126.5, November 5 Romeo Echo. Philippine 274, cross runway 34 left, please expedite. Philippine 274, wind 300 at 5, runway 34 left. Cleared for takeoff. Air India 215 Heavy, line up and wait runway 34 left. Sydney Kingsford Tower, Ethiopian 558 Heavy, ready for departure in sequence at runway 34 left, departing south.
Line up and wait runway 34 left, Air India 215 Heavy.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 34 left, Philippine 274. 4 Lima Golf India Victor, when able turn left, contact ground on the taxiway. Wilco, 4 Lima Golf India Victor. 4 Lima Golf India Victor, contact Sydney Kingsford ground on 126.5.
1000.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, Singapore 7749 Heavy, ready for departure in sequence at runway 34 left, departing west.
Air India 215 Heavy, wind 300 at 5, runway 34 left, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 34 left, Air India 215 Heavy.
Singapore 7749 Heavy,
Approaching
line up and
34
wait
right.
runway 34 left.
Line up and wait runway 34 left, Singapore 7749 Heavy.
Approaching minimums.
Singapore 7749 Heavy,
Minimums,
cross runway 34
minimums.
left, please expedite. All Nippon 409 Tango Kilo Super, line up and wait runway 34 left.
400.
Singapore 7749 Heavy, wind 300 at 5, runway 34 left, cleared for takeoff.
Line up and wait runway 34 left, all Nippon 409 Tango Kilo Super. Cleared for takeoff, runway 34 left, Singapore 7749 Heavy.
Philippine 274, frequency change approved, good day. Frequency change approved Philippine 274, good day.
40.
Air India 215 Heavy, frequency change approved, good day. Sydney
Landing
Kingsford
spoilers
Tower,
extended.
Emirates 578 Super, ready for departure at runway 34 left, departing east.
Frequency change approved Air India 215 Heavy, good day.
Sydney Kingsford Tower, Vietnam Airlines 130 Victor November, inbound on the ILS runway 34
Spoilers
right.
retracted.
All Nippon 409 Tango Kilo Super, wind
Flaps
300 at 5, runway 34 left, cleared for takeoff. Ethiopian 558 Heavy, line up and wait runway 34 left.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 34 left, all Nippon 409 Tango Kilo Super.
Ladies and
Line up and
gentlemen,
wait
for your
runway
safety
34
and
left,
comfort,
Matrix
please remain
187,
seated with your
when able
seatbelt
turn
fastened.
left,
Doesn't
contact
We have
ground on the
turns off
taxiway.
fasten seatbelt sign. This will indicate that we have parked at the gate
Wilco,
and that
Matrix
it's safe for you to
187.
move about. At this time, you may use your
Matrix
cellular phones if you
187,
wish.
contact Sydney
Please check
Kingsford
around
ground on
your seat for any
126.
personal belongings
Contacting
you may
Sydney
have brought on
Kingsford
board
ground
with
on
you. And please use
126.5,
caution when
Matrix
opening the
187.
overhead bin, as heavy
Sydney
articles
Kingsford
may have
ground,
shifted around
Matrix
during the flight.
187, request
On
taxi
behalf
to
of the
parking.
entire crew,
Qatari
I'd like to
401
thank you for
Quebec
joining
Romeo,
us on this
Matrix
trip, and we're
187,
looking forward
taxi
to
to
seeing you on
parking,
board
at your
again in the near
discretion.
future.
Taxi.
Have a pleasant
Taxi
day.
to parking, Matrix 187. Sydney Kingsford ground, United 376 Super, ready for pushback with information November. United 376 Super, hold position. Sydney Kingsford ground, Delta 4607, ready for pushback with information November. Holding position, United 376 Super, Delta 4607, pushback approved, tail to the north.
Qantas 7879 Heavy, request permission to cross runway 7.
Pushback approved, tail to the north, Delta 4607. Qantas 1438 Super, taxi to International Terminal Bay 8 via.
Taxi into International Terminal Bay 8 via Qantas 1438 Super.
Sydney Kingsford ground, thumb 3459, ready for pushback with information November.
103459, pushback approved, tail to the north. Qantas 7879 Heavy, cross runway 25, please expedite.
Qatari 401 Quebec Romeo, request permission to cross runway 25.
Pushback approved, tail to the north, thumb 3459.
Qatari 401 Quebec Romeo, cross runway 25, please expedite.
Crossing runway 25, Qantas 7879 Heavy.
November 305 Alpha Tango, contact Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7.
Crossing runway 25, Qatari 401 Quebec Romeo.
Air China 49 Heavy, cross runway 25, please expedite. Contacting Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7, November 1649 Bravo. United 376 Super, pushback approved, tail to the north. Pushback approved, tail to the north, United 376 Super.
Qantas 7879 Heavy, request permission to cross runway 34 left.
Qantas 7879 Heavy, contact Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7.
Contacting Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7, Qantas 7879 Heavy.
4 Lima Golf India Victor, request permission to cross runway 7. 4 Lima Golf India Victor, cross runway 25, please expedite. Crossing runway 25, 4 Lima Golf India Victor. Singapore 12 Super, request permission to cross runway 7. Singapore 12 Super, cross runway 25, please expedite. Crossing runway 25, Singapore 12 Super. Star 62 Heavy, hold position. Holding position, Jetstar 62 Heavy. New Zealand 777, request permission to cross runway 7. Velocity 001 Heavy, request frequency change. Sydney Kingsford Ground, United 376 Super, ready to taxi with information November. New Zealand 777, cross runway 25, please expedite. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Vietnam Airlines 130 Victor November, request taxi to Bay 36 at the International Terminal.
Sydney Kingsford Ground, thumb 3459, ready to taxi with information November.
United 376 Super, taxi to runway 34 left, hold short of 725. Crossing runway 25, New Zealand 777. Sydney Kingsford Ground, velocity 898, ready for pushback with information November. Velocity 001 Heavy, contact Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7. Contacting Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7, velocity 001 Heavy. Sydney Kingsford Ground, Qatari 355 Super, ready for pushback with information November. Velocity 898, pushback approved, tail to the east. Contacting Sydney Kingsford Tower on 124.7, 4 Lima Golf India Victor. Qatari 355 Super, hold position. Holding position, Qatari 355 Super. Szechuan 606, hold position.
Sydney Kingsford Ground, Corina 401 Heavy, requests taxi to Bay 37 at the International Terminal.
Corina 401 Heavy, taxi to International Terminal Bay 37, hold short of 725.
Taxiing to International Terminal Bay 37, will hold short of 7225, Corina 401 Heavy.
Qantas 7879 Heavy, give way to aircraft ahead.
Give way to aircraft, Qantas 7879 Heavy.
Sydney Kingsford Ground, Qatari 355 Super, ready for pushback with information November. Jetstar 62 Heavy, pushback approved, tail to the north. Qatari 355 Super, hold position. Pushback approved, tail to the north, Jetstar 62 Heavy. United 376 Super, request permission to cross runway 7. United 376 Super, cross runway 25, please expedite. Holding position, Qatari 355 Super.